This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 21st day of March in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The U.S. State Department has flagged corruption in the Guyana police force again, pointing out that there were frequent reports of corruption by officers last year. The State Department has released its latest report on human rights practices, and in the focus on Guyana, it took the Guyana police force to task over some of its practices. The report stated that corruption by police officers was frequent, noting that in August, police officer Dion Bascom alleged that a businessman bribed the members of the Guyana police force to foil an investigation into an execution-style killing of Ricardo Fagundes, a gold miner. The report noted too that as of October, the police had not investigated Bascom's claims. In addition, the report also highlighted that there were several reports of government or its agents committing arbitrary or unlawful killings. The report notes that in May, police shot and killed Dhanraj Singh. Police officials allege that Singh was killed during an exchange of gunfire with the police. But as of October the 31st, police were investigating the case. In June, the police shot and killed Quinton Bacchus. According to police officials, Bacchus was the subject of an undercover investigation regarding the purchase of black market firearms. During the operation, the report said the police claimed that Bacchus shot at the officers who returned fire, resulting in Bacchus's death. In July, the authorities arrested police officer Christophe Dinobrica and charged him with the murder of Bacchus. As of the end of October, no date had been set for his trial, the U.S. State Department report noted. The report did not highlight the police killing of Oren Boston at Dartmouth Essequibo, but highlighted that as of October, the inquest ordered by the Department of Public Prosecutions regarding the May 2021 killing of Peter Headley had not been held. According to the State Department, significant human rights issues, including reports of unlawful or arbitrary killings, including laws that criminalizing consensual same-sex sexual conduct between adult men, were not enforced. Child labor, according to the report, remains rampant in Guyana. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
At Giftland Office Max, we're all about customer satisfaction. Whether it's clothing and shoes for the ladies, gents, and kids, or for the latest electronics or hardware appliance, we're always thinking of satisfying you, our dear customers. Now you can shop online at www.giftlandofficemax.com or visit us at the Giftland Mall, where we're happy to serve each and every one of you.
Did you know that you can check your NIS contributions online? Simply visit our website at www.nis.org.gy. Click on the Create New Account button and enter the required information. An automatic email notification will be sent to acknowledge your application. Once your information is authenticated, you will receive an email within 48 hours with instructions on how to access the site. Once logged in, you can click on the My Contributions tab on the left side of the screen to view your contributions. For further information, you can call our Records Department on 225-2798 or visit your nearest NIS office.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
always standing by your side. Golden service, half a century and more. New India assurance, our policies are secure. From the heart of India, we serve these islands. The strength that you can trust, you're safe when you come to us.
New India Assurance Company. Assurance when you need it most.
For your home, motor or business insurance, visit New India Guyana office, 58 Brickdam next to Star Computers. Telephone 2260-415-7. Comfortable parking available.
News coming out of Linden right now. One day after alleged members of a gang invaded the Harmony Secondary School in Linden and injured a teacher, teachers and students of the school took to the streets today to voice their concerns and call for better security while denouncing gang violence in schools. They were also joined by parents. News source understands that following an altercation between two students on Monday, which resulted in one of those students being hospitalized, a group of young men who were armed with knives, pieces of wood and scissors invaded the secondary school located on Burnham Drive in Wisma and launched a harrowing attack on students and teachers. A teacher was reportedly injured and at least one student was robbed of his money as the gang searched the school for one of the two students who was involved in the altercation. The police and the Department of Education were called in, and the matter is currently engaging the attention of the police force. Today, the students said enough is enough. Backed by their teachers and parents and community leaders, the students called on the Ministry of Education to set up a welfare office at the school and improve its security. The Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union up at the Marara branch, Chanel James, bemoaned the situation.
A very sad situation at this time. We're all educators, and it can happen to anyone. And so we need to have security when it comes to protecting our school environs.
And former Member of Parliament and General Council representative for the union's Upper Demerara branch, Vanessa Kissoon, who joined the protest in solidarity, condemned the attack. It was explained that following the altercation between the two students, the aggressor was asked to return to the school with his parents, but instead he returned with a gang.
One of the students, he was asked to go and bring his parents, the aggressor, as was reported, and returned with gang members. So the teachers, the staff tried to get the other student to safety, put him in a car. When they recognized that the young man was going to be sent out in a car, they ran in the school through the front gate.
During a live broadcast on Facebook, Kissoon explained further that the female teacher was injured while trying to safeguard her students at the school.
Teachers use their bodies, female teachers, to try to keep the doors locked. The doors are not properly secured and the gang members kicked the door down, and one teacher got kicked in her face.
And the Region 10 Education Officer, while condemning the act, said the Education Ministry will not allow gangs to take over the school system.
We are in solidarity with you because we've recognized that our students who have left our school, and even some of those who are still a part of our school system, is trying to take over. And we can no longer stand and allow them to take over.
The education official said while the majority of the teachers and students are safe, there is still a student who remains hospitalized. She called on persons with information on the gang members to come forward.
What is disappointing is that the students were involved and students who know these boys that entered this building yesterday not saying anything. We were at the station late last night, we still cannot get names.
The regional education officer also hinted at the need to reintroduce corporal punishment in schools. Meanwhile, the regional police commander for Region 10, Hugh Winter, told News Source that the matter remains under investigation. But he was keen on noting that the Education Ministry is also involved. He confirmed that a teacher was injured during the invasion. The government and the opposition today underscored the need to eradicate all forms of racial discrimination as they joined the world in observing International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. President Irfan Ali in a statement said he was proud to be part of a country that celebrates ethnic diversity. According to the president, the government will continue to work to eradicate all forms of racism and racial discrimination and to ensure that there is inclusive development.
On this International Day, for the elimination of racial discrimination. I urge all Guyanese to reject racially laced rhetoric or to be misled by those who wish to use race and ethnicity to stoke divisions and hatred in our society. My government will continue under the One Guyana agenda to promote harmonious relations within our society, relations that are rooted in respect for human rights, the multicultural character of our society, and the equal dignity of all. I continue to urge all Guyanese to refute every tongue that utters threats and instigates hatred. In so doing, we will ensure that no weapon aimed at dividing our people and pitting any segment against another shall prosper.
In a separate statement, Prime Minister Mark Phillips said the government remains committed to promoting equality, tolerance and unity and will not tolerate any form of racial discrimination. The Prime Minister said the government remains committed to ensuring that all people, regardless of race, can access and benefit from every aspect of development in the country. He said the government will not condone any form of discrimination, be it in the workplace, in the access to education, health, security, and all other areas. Prime Minister Phillips added that the government will continue to implement policies and programs that promote equality and justice. However, the Prime Minister also said, like all other nations, Guyana's history depicts instances of racial conflicts that have left deep scars on its people. He said while confronting that reality, the country must work together to create a future that is free of inequality.
As leaders, we are responsible for creating a peaceful, productive, and prosperous environment where every citizen is valued, respected, and feels a sense of belonging, regardless of ethnicity, race, or religion. Therefore, it is critical that we lead by example, not just in words, but through our actions in guiding our people, which show what we stand for.
On the opposition side, the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, in an address to the nation, spoke of the need to build better race relations in the country and to eliminate all forms of discrimination. Mr. Norton said the opposition has stood and fought against all forms of inequality and injustices and will continue to fight against all forms of discrimination.
While racial discrimination continues to dominate our national discourse and scar our national psyche, let us in no way underemphasize the reality that many persons often face discrimination because of their ethnicity, political affiliation, religion, gender, social status, residence, and other statuses. Women, for example, face discrimination for their sex alone, but also when their race or religion intersects with their sex.
Norton said in Guyana, indigenous people face discrimination not only because of their race or ethnicity, but also because of their relative social and economic disempowerment. Noting that Indo-Guyanese also face discrimination, the opposition leader called for a comprehensive national anti-discrimination plan aimed at achieving harmonious race relations, women empowerment, equality of opportunity for all, and the minimizing of all forms of discrimination.
We in the opposition, therefore, join in the international call for concrete actions and a united stance to fight inequality and discrimination. Lip service and sporadic actions will not work. Guyana needs a national action plan on race relations, gender empowerment, and anti-discrimination. Such a plan is not only a moral imperative, but also a key driver of economic growth and social progress.
The opposition leader submitted that a national anti-discrimination plan must be built on three distinct but mutually supporting pillars: fostering of good ethnic relations, the elimination of racial and other forms of discrimination, and the promotion of equity and equal opportunity as provided for in the Constitution. He said in building those three pillars, the country must subscribe to principles of human rights, good governance, and the need for the eradication of corruption, which is a major obstacle to economic growth and social progress. 8 members of the Ethnic Relations Commission were sworn in by President Irfan Ali today. Representative of the Hindu community Pandit Krishna Sharma, trade unionist Norris Witter, private sector representative Charles Ogle, youth representative Dwayne Adams, representative of women organizations Chandrawati Saran, indigenous representative Ashton Simon, a representative of the Afro-Guyanese groups Dion Dick, and Nia Suban, the representative of Indo-Guyanese organizations, took their oath of office during the ceremony today, which coincided with an International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. 2 other members of the Commission will be sworn in at a later date. In his address, President Irfan Ali said the government remains committed to the process of eliminating all forms of racial discrimination and will ensure those guilty of fostering animosity are held accountable.
We work daily, long and hard through our One Guyana initiative to promote equality, compassion, opportunities, and stability for the advancement of all Guyanese. We take seriously any attempts to instigate racial animosity and racial violence within our country. We severely condemn attempts that provoke racial conflict in our society and will ensure that those guilty are subject to the sanctions imposed by law.
The president said as the world observes International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, Guyanese must reject racially laced rhetoric and not be misled by those who use race and ethnicity to stoke divisions and hatred in the society.
I continue to urge all Guyanese to refute every tongue that utters threats and instigates hatred. In so doing, we will ensure that no weapon aimed at dividing our people and pitting any segment against another shall prosper.
In congratulating the commissioners on their appointment, the president said the commission can play a pivotal role in identifying and addressing ethnic discrimination and making recommendations for eliminating racial discord in the society. The appointment of the members of the Ethnic Relations Commission comes months after the nominations were adopted by the National Assembly, following extensive consultation between the Parliamentary Committee of Appointments and a number of stakeholders. As a constitutional body, the ERC is mandated to promote harmony and good relations among all Guyanese.
Get ready for the ultimate event as Mackenzie Alumni Association presents official Night of Elegance. Reunion and fundraiser. It's going down on Friday, 21st of April at the Edward Benjamin Conference Center, Linden, Guyana. Ticket donation $50. Dinner included. Come and enjoy the vibes from old school R&B and hip hop. It's the official Night of Elegance. Night of Elegance.
Combo pack up, we feeling best. Sunshine stacks above the rest. There is no contest, is the best mix, so we feeling best. Best value to how you feeling. Ole cheesy, too much ripples and more combo pack up flavors galore, yeah. Combo pack up, we feeling best. Sunshine stacks above the rest. There is no contest, is the best mix, so we feeling best.
Sunshine Snacks Combo Pack, now with a new look and new mix. Grab your pack today.
Best mix, so we feeling best.
Sundress Soiree, Champagne and Cocktail Event, Saturday, April 8th at Everest Cricket Ground. Contribution $8,000. This is a day into night event. Doors open from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. Free. Cocktail hour, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Sundress Soiree. You know the vibes.
Still on the labor front, well-respected geotechnical engineer Charles Series has been named as the chairman of a 10-member commission of inquiry that will probe the circumstances surrounding the incident at the Bauxite Mining Company in Linden, which led to the death of those operator Neptune Hercules. The other members of the COI include a number of officials from the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission, as well as occupational health and safety specialists. On Monday, the Minister of Labour, Joe Hamilton, announced the appointment of the members of the Commission of Inquiry. The formal investigation will begin next Monday and is expected to last for 6 weeks. The Labour Minister has explained that his decision is covered by the Occupational Safety and Health Act, which gives the Minister the power to direct formal investigations into any accident arising out of or in the course of employment of any worker, where he considers it expedient to do so. It was explained that the main purpose of the probe will be to determine the cause or causes of the accident and make recommendations for the prevention of accidents generally, and more in particular the occurrence of similar accidents. The dozer operator Neptune Hercules went missing in the early hours of the morning of Saturday, the 11th of March, along with the heavy-duty equipment that he was operating at the time. The man and the machinery were buried by overburden in the East Montgomery mines, and it took more than 3 days for his body and the equipment to be located and recovered from underground. The Minister of Labour has indicated that he remains deeply concerned about the matter and believes that the incident should have never happened. He said he owes it to the family, the co-workers, and the community of Linden to ensure that there is no recurrence. The dead bauxite miner was later arrested today in his hometown. He spent more than 40 years working in the bauxite industry and was preparing to retire later this year. The Ministry of Labour, Occupational Health and Safety Department has called the attention of the U.S. Department of State in its latest human rights report over the ministry's inability to enforce applicable laws in workplaces that have been deemed unsafe. In the 2022 Human Rights Country Report on Guyana, which was released overnight, the U.S. Department of State noted that while some workplaces were deemed not suitable for work, the laws to protect workers from hazards were not enforced, although unsafe conditions were identified by safety inspectors. The report said occupational safety and health standards are not appropriate for the main industries, and government did not effectively enforce occupational safety and health laws. The law, it notes, provides that some categories of workers have the right to remove themselves from unsafe work environments without jeopardizing their employment, and authorities effectively protected employees in those situations. The report noted occupational safety and health inspectors actively identified unsafe conditions and recommended procedures for addressing workplace hazards. Labour Minister Joe Hamilton, in his budget presentation this year, pointed out that there was an increase in workplace accidents last year, although workplace deaths have decreased. The report also stated that there were violations of wage, hour, or overtime laws, especially in the mining, logging, and oil and gas sectors, and that the government did not effectively enforce applicable laws to give redress to those affected, while administrative and judicial proceedings regarding violations were often subject to lengthy delays and appeals. In addition, the report noted that some public sector employee unions continue to allege discrimination by the government, asserting the government violated worker rights and did not effectively enforce the law. According to the U.S. State Department report, the unions were concerned that employers used hiring practices such as contract labor and temporary labor to avoid hiring workers with bargaining rights, noting that the National Mines Workers Union of Guyana advocated on behalf of oil and gas workers to raise complaints with the Ministry of Labor. The report also noted complaints by the Guyana Public Service Union of instances of political interference in the union. It also mentioned the union's repeated efforts to get the government to participate in collective bargaining.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water. Now available for only $120.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, Trinidad Cement Limited has confirmed that it will retrench 70% of the workforce at its wholly owned Barbados-based subsidiary, Arawak Cement Company. TCL issued a statutory information notice published on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange website, in which it said the company's board had passed a resolution authorizing changes in the operating model of Arawak Cement in Barbados. The cement purchasing company said in the interest of its continued viability, Arawak Cement Company Limited suspended its clinker production on the 15th of March. The core operation of the company will be focused on the grinding of clinker and cement production. Arawak will continue to produce and supply cement to meet the demand of the Barbados market. Clinker is an intermediate product used in the production of cement. It is a mixture of limestone and minerals that have been heated in a kiln and transformed by that heat. TCL said in accordance with the consultations with the two representative unions at the Barbados Cement Plant, the workforce will be adjusted and approximately 30% of the current employees of Arawak Cement will be retained in the new operating model. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has accepted the resignation of the country's powerful oil minister following the determination of at least 6 high-level officials amid a corruption probe focused on state-run company PDVSA and the judiciary. The oil minister had indicated that he would resign to fully support the investigations. The probe especially touches the oil company, which is supervised by the oil ministry. Arresting government officials for corruption is rare in Venezuela, a country that rights groups such as Transparency International have described as opaque. Maduro did not immediately name a replacement. The Venezuelan president, who has led previous corruption sweeps, said in a televised remark that his government is committed to going to the root of corruption, calling the probe, which began last year, professional, scientific, and disciplined. And finally tonight, international news. The BBC reports that China's peace plan for Ukraine could be used as a basis to end the war, Vladimir Putin has said. But the Russian president said the plan could be put forward only when they are ready for it in the West and in Kiev. The Russian leader met Chinese President Xi Jinping today in Moscow to discuss the conflict and relations between the two countries. China's plan, published last month, does not explicitly call for Russia to leave Ukraine. Listing 12 points, it calls for peace talks and respect for national sovereignty, without specific proposals. But Ukraine has insisted on Russia withdrawing from its territory as a condition for any talks, and there is no sign that Russia is ready to do that. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Monday said that calling for a ceasefire before Russia withdrew would effectively be supporting the ratification of the Russian conquest. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.